which is super cringe.
We've seen champions fall and underdogs rise. Anything can happen in the battleground of the gods. It is time.
She claps in, but she's still alive. Is it 1 HP? Beautiful ult from Herwin locks the ball in. SOT, triple, quad, one more, pentakill.
All right, if they're selling these skins now,
Unscathed.
are the players getting a cut, or is this gonna go towards the prize pool for once?
Esports! Energy are looking to be world champions again. Be united. Keep on going. Rivals are unified. They can't do it.
Everyone from Splice in the Titan room. Gaming of launching down mid lane. Pittsburgh Knights, lightning strikes twice. Vamos, vamos, vamos.
Untouched, unscathed. Bow down to your king.
That Worlds with Fans shit is so cringy.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another beautiful Smite update show. I am Titan Dandy, and I am honored to be
figure
here
out audio?
to bring y'all the final season of Smite's Year 10, the Season of Worlds. What a journey it has been to get here to this crazy final season as we make our way towards SWCX. We've gone through 4 other incredible seasons through insane amount of changes, but we're not done yet. We have SWC right around the corner, and I am just so hyped for us to get there. And to join in the hype, I have 2 guests, 2 people that Smite could not live without, Aggro and Lermy. How are y'all?
What yo, doing great. Excited as always to show off a lot of the cool stuff we've been working on.
Yeah, same. I mean, it's going to be a great thing. You know, we have, you saw the video there, you saw the trailer for Season of Worlds. We have all these really cool decorations on the map. Like,
Yep.
Battleground has been kitted out to get ready for Worlds. You know, we're on the way there, and it's just, I'm hype. Every day we have a countdown. We have like whiteboards with countdowns on them that we pass by every day, and we're like, bro, it's on the way. So, oh, I'm just so hyped. So we have a ton of stuff to go over, a whole lot of stuff. But I'm going to start off with some news, like I always do. So to get right into it, first up, community news.
Wait, why is poolside in at the bottom?
About it, right? Because time is running out.
I fucking swear if they redrop poolside in, I'm uninstalling
So
Smite.
make sure that you're checking out November 27th.
Uninstalling the game instantly.
Contest, pardon me.
Watch.
But like I said, I'm
Watch.
just so hype about this. I've been thinking about it forever. Get your cosplays in. Remember, it's through Twitter that we have a blog about it if you need the information. But go on for the contest.
Recolor,
and
it's
tweet
still bull-sided. I'm
November
uninstalling.
27th for a chance to
I'll do it.
show off and bring it to Worlds too if you're coming
I'll
out.
do it.
Like bring it out.
That's
You
insane.
and your friend, you and your family member, just yourself.
Bro, watch, they'll
Bring
sell
and
it for
show
like
off
fucking
because
20
you know people
bucks.
are gonna wanna be taking
And they're
pictures
just gonna
having fun with that.
take the money and then they're
So
gonna
that's
close
super
Smite
exciting.
down.
Next up, got some merch talk we're gonna do. Y'all seen the SWC merch go live. I am so hyped
Yeah.
about it. I was up in that store checking things out. I just could not be more excited about
Dude,
it, honestly.
I can't
It's,
wait to buy all of
so
that.
many different things.
The bag,
all the team
top
shirts,
fucking
all
tier,
the
bro.
merch, the hats. I want
could
one of
rock
those,
that Smite
the
World
tracksuit
Championship
they have.
shirt
There's just
every
so many
day.
things. My wallet is weeping.
Jersey, whatever
but
the fuck
I am
it is.
ready for the World Championship. So make sure to
This
check
is
it
the
out.
worst design clothing I've ever fucking seen in my life. They
get all that really cool
printed the
merch.
card art
So
on the
last but not
t-shirt.
least, we have something cool. It's kind of a spoiler.
Who the fuck is in charge of that shit?
Section, so we'll get there right away. As year 10 comes to a close, we wanted to continue celebrating, continue hitting these big things because year 10 has been all about a combination of our history and all of these exciting new changes, right? We love remembering what got us here through these 10 incredible years, as well as bringing things new, bringing things, to the forefront. So one of the cool things that we're bringing out is a twist on a legendary Smite skin, one that has gone down in history.
Oh
as one of the
my
famous Smite
god, you
skins,
all are
but
terrible fucking
updated
people.
With some technology that we brought out more recently, and that is a new Poseidon skin called Poolseidon. Or Cool Sidon for the pool side. You know what I'm getting at. So it's coming back. We're gonna get into it in a second.
GG.
But it's one of those skins that's classic. It's a historic part of Smite, and we wanted to revamp it.
How
with
is
the
it
Color Forge
classic
technology,
if
so
you're
the ability to
fucking
change its
redoing
color.
it?
as part of, our final, pushing towards the end of our year 10, just bring back one more crazy piece of our history. And a good thing to know about it is that each cool Sidon skin sold will benefit 2024 Smite Esports. So, it's not only are we bringing this back as a celebration of the 10 years of Smite, but we're continuing the tradition of having this skin benefit the community and benefit the things that y'all love by having it benefit esports in 2024.
How much? Are we capping it like we did last time? There better be some more information
I
here.
wanted to throw that out there because it's just, we're continuing to bring back these things that have created the legacy of Smite over the 10 years. So, anyway, I've talked enough. I could talk all day. You know how I am. So let's get in to a new event, the Color Forge event. Color Forge Worlds Collide. So I said that I've talked a lot. I'm going to keep talking because the event is, if
the
you're
fact
not
that's going to
familiar
go
with
towards
Color
Smite
Forge,
Esports next
one of
year
those
is
events.
saying something.
We'll get into what that system means for those of you who don't know, but the event itself has brand new skins that you can get and a whole brand new variety of dyes to use with the Color Forge skins. So you can get the dyes through the chest. There are weekly missions, as these events do. But you also have the ability to go to the quest tab and earn a free skin, the little Charmer Cupid skin. So if you remember the last Color Forge event, actually, this was a skin you could have earned back then as well. But if you missed your opportunity there, it will be a free quest reward through this event. So make sure to grab it. And it is a Color Forge skin.
Does it feel worse with this guy breaking the news?
Now, for those of you who aren't familiar with what the Color Forge system is, let me be brief in explaining that it is a super cool new tech we added a little while ago that lets you take Color Forge applicable skins. It's not every skin, it's the Color Forge skins, let's be clear. But you can apply dyes to them. And the dye changes the skin's color, so like the apparel, and the ability effects. So it is truly a dye across the entire shape of the kit. And we're adding new ones. Now, the cool thing about this, for those of you who don't know, because this is the second time we've really rolled out a big Color Forge release, is that all dyes work with all Color Forge skins. It doesn't matter if you get some of the new dyes we're about to talk about and you want to rock them on the raw ramen skin that came out last time, go for it.
This man's in a wind tunnel, but we can see he's not in a fucking wind tunnel.
Adding new color to skins you may already own and giving you new and exciting skins to use the new and old colors with. So super cool system. I absolutely love it. I'm amazed at how they built the system out. And I'm going to stop talking now and we're going to get into some skins. So the first skin we're going to talk about is Intergalactic Harvester Thanatos.
This skin's so epic.
It very much is.
I think it's even really fun, too, that Color Forge can be applied to the skin because everything about this skin changes. The card art you see here, nice reds and whites and chromes and even a little bit of gold touches here or there, but you throw in bubblegum and that guy goes completely pink. It's great.
I love that you called out bubblegum because, I don't know why. I land on bubblegum a lot.
We had a long discussion we were waiting for our playtest to start, and we had a good 10 minutes on which dyes everyone preferred. You and Ro are in the same camp. He is also a bubblegum main. Lermy was not as convinced.
Listen, there's so many cool new colors coming out as well. It's
true.
Bubblegum is great. It is very girl boss moment as well, which you always love to see. But there's lots of other cool new ones as well that I can't wait to show off for you guys.
Oh, I'm excited for it. But first, let's dive in game for this. I want to see. I love the Color Forge stuff. I want to see it.
What up, Zach? Maybe the 36 months, man. 3 years,
the
maybe.
Smite World Championship season.
All right, this skin's not bad. Let's see the autos.
Mid lane. Absolutely.
Okay, you can't see anything.
Love getting
what
just
the
like
fuck is that?
This reminder of I got to start getting hyped for Worlds every time I load into.
Does
a
Color
match.
Forge change the ability colors?
Just really sets the tone for me right away and gets me hyped up right away.
Yeah, and I mean, what a great skin, and I love the jump stamp too. If y'all peeped that, so looking good. So
all I do is
glorious.
win.
And again, so many things about this skin will change. You're gonna see.
Little planet.
Oh wow, you're right. You're gonna see the colors of the skin itself change. So all of
it
that,
does change the abilities. That's good.
Completely
so this skin
different.
could be dope with the right Color Forge
pink,
stuff.
Do that.
Because I like the base skin, just not the colors. I like the
especially
visuals.
if you have all the old dyes, which how many?
Even though Thanatos has 90 skins, and I probably will never use this outside of the first time.
Every skin into 8 different skins. So absolutely incredible with this one, and super hyped up about it. And so this is the first one. The second one.
Color my pink. I don't know the Color Forge colors.
And that is called Cool Sidon Poseidon. So for those of you who are Smite fans, a throwback of Cool Sidon.
You would not go blue on this? What do you mean?
For today. And again, it was just something that we wanted to bring back to honor the 10 years. Because, I mean, that skin is, it's a skin of legend in our community.
Yeah.
In all honesty.
And I know for the poolside and owners out there that are worried about their exclusivity and all that kind of stuff, I know that poolside is still poolside.
Oh, yeah.
Like that.
It is.
Totally separate.
It's its own
Completely
thing.
different thing.
Poolseiden is this new cool skin with all the color forge and all that kind of great stuff. But Poolseiden users.
Honestly, I kind of hope this is better than Poolseiden.
And that's a super important note to bring back is that
So at least there's
Poolseiden's
something
very
new to
much
use.
its own thing. Like if you are an owner of Poolside and you are still legendary, you still have that as your bragging right. You get to showcase that in front of the world for the whole world.
So
to
I'm pretty
see.
sure
But, this is
Smite
something
has
completely
like
different as kind of a milestone.
1,500
it
skins
was
or
such a
something
huge
like
thing.
that.
We wanted to bring it up with this new technology, so I think we'd be doing an injustice.
So if you're
right
asking
away.
if Smite has
Dive
too many
in,
skins,
straight into game to see this
maybe.
cool-tastic skin. So let's check it out.
Iconic. And
Iconic.
It's
one
the
of
same
best voice
skin.
acts in the entire game.
Honestly, so true.
It is great.
I'm very excited that more people
It's
get
the
a chance to
exact
use,
same
that.
skin.
Foul.
Yeah, classic.
It's such a good skin.
The Quacken,
It's the same
all
skin.
of it just, I mean, it's one of the most sought after.
It's the
skins
same
for a
skin.
reason. Like it's awesome.
And the best part about this is that everything changes from the Quacken itself to the watercolor. All of that goes in a number of different colors depending on what you
This
pick.
man said,
There
I
are
know
some
Poolseiden
that look
special
really
and, you
cool
know,
on
it's its
him.
own
There's a
skin.
couple,
They're
multicolor
the
ones that I gotta
same.
say are some of my favorites. So definitely be sure that you're checking those out when you get to see all those different colors on this skin.
How much are
because
they selling
look
this for, bro? And how much is going towards
And
what's
now we're
the
at a great time
SPL
to
or
talk
whatever?
about some of the new
Esports.
colors. Obviously,
Notice how they said
with
Smite
the World
Esports, by the
Championship
way.
on the way, we couldn't release a color forge without giving you some team colors. So part of this will be the World's Chest. There's a World's Chest, and you can unlock some of these in other ways. But the World's Chest will contain a chance to unlock every different SPL team's die kit. So you can take these skins and rock your favorite SPL team's colors going
I
through
donated
matches. So you're gonna be
$1,000 to
rocking
charity to get the
whatever, like,
Poolseiden
support
skin on
your
my
team.
main
You're out there on the
account.
Battleground doing it in style.
'Cause I had
with
it on my
the
other
Kraken.
accounts and on my main.
Honestly, just super cool.
And now
I
you
love
can
Color
get it
Forge
for
tech. I love that we're
a
able to do
small
this.
fee of
I'm super excited to
$9.99
talk
for the
about
next
the
10 months.
So now we have some additional skins we're going to talk about. Some of those that fall out of the big events. We have a chest, the Winter Wonderland chest coming through. And this one is going to have 2 skins in it. The first of them being Midnight Freeze.
Poolseiden was before there was an
Yeah, this one
SPL.
I was
It was
looking
just like a
forward to.
little
This one
charity
is
skin for
really,
like $5.
cool. Just X-Ball is like his weapon is just so unique that
is.
I'm always really excited to see what the team comes up with for making a skin. Like how do we change those bolas? You know, what direction are they going to go with that? And this one is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, it looks like it would both give you frostbite and maybe like cut you up a bit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it
that
was
would
before
hurt,
season
I
1.
think.
That's why I didn't have it.
So this will be the first of the skins available in the Winter.
It was when I didn't play the
Wonderland
game every
chest.
day.
The second of which is a Yule Cheer Aphrodite.
So we're going from a really strong, badass.
Pretty sure it was like
looking guy
$5
to
when I bought it, or
having
when
a
it
good
was
time
out.
during the holidays,
So I had it on my
picking up
other
some gifts,
account.
making people happy, showing the love. It's just a very warm themed card. I just think it like brings the spirit of the holidays.
Yeah, it makes me think of that like Fenrir skin card art where he's got like the sweater and he's
And the hot
by the
cocoa.
fire. Yeah,
True.
that's one of my favorite card arts we've ever done.
Can you look
this
up
one,
skin release
You
dates?
know, I love our badass skins, our scary skins, our spooky stuff. Everyone's always asking for spooky stuff, but I also like these wholesome like
March
holiday
25th,
ones at the same
2014.
time. I think it's great.
It's
Yeah, get
very
in the
comfortable.
spirit.
Yep.
So those will be in the Winter Wonderland chest, which is coming.
Was
with
that
the
during
update
season
next
1?
Tuesday, so right around the corner. Now
Was that
let's
the
dive
first
into some
season?
bonus stuff. So
Or was
this
that
isn't
before
coming out
Smite
until
started? That was
it's in
before
November.
SPL,
This is
right?
the bonus update, so you're gonna have to wait for it a little bit. But
that was
we
when the
have
game came out.
One more skin coming with the Color Forge event, and this one is really hype. You might notice something a little different about this when we get into it.
Season 2. I thought
We
Smite
have
dropped in
Rascal,
2014.
Baron Somni.
This one might be my favorite in the update.
Yeah.
It's hard to say,
Awesome.
but
Yeah.
it is just such a cool concept.
It is
As you'll notice here, Baron is now a Baroness.
a Baroness.
And is looking really sick and really scary in a lot of ways as well.
Got the clown. The clown aesthetic is just. I don't know. I rock with it. Every time we release a clown themed skin, I'm like. I'm
SPL
terrified,
started
but then
August
so,
2014.
let's check this out in game because it's just such
Season
a
1,
twist from
August
Baron and all
2014. So it
Remember
was
that
before
spooky
Smite.
thing I was just
Before the
saying that,
SPL.
everyone's always asking for something spooky.
so I was right.
We like to deliver when it comes to that for sure.
that. That's very true. And Baron does it so well too. Baron is just naturally, as one of my favorite characters in the game, suits these spooky things very well.
I like
but
that they
such a
completely
dramatic
changed up the
change here.
skin
And again,
finally
If you missed me
for
saying
this
it,
god.
this will be bonus update.
That's so cool. I hadn't seen that.
Animation is awesome.
I absolutely love that.
That is great.
But this is part of the Color Forge event in the bonus update. So you have to wait for the bonus. Okay, we got that out of the way. But it's Color Forge. That means you're going to rock all of the different colors.
many
that you
color
already
forges are they
own,
dropping?
The
Fuck.
SPL colors you pick up with the main update, like you're really going to be able to rock this skin in a variety of different colors and styles. So
Like Jazzberry Jam.
like Jazzberry Jam, exactly. So for those Jazzberry stands out there, this is your update. So yeah, that's going to be the first. The second skin coming with the bonus update. Again, I'm gonna nail this into the ground. It's the bonus update. I had to say it because I want to see them right now, but I know I gotta wait. Is going to be the Portal Punk chest, and we're getting Portal Punk Janice.
Yep.
And that's why I said Mike.
awesome.
That's why I said Mike, because this one is also so sick.
It is so sick.
That guy's just cool. Like,
I mean, look at the sunglasses.
if you're getting styled on by this guy, also, he's like 50,000 feet tall in comparison to these poor chumps down here. And he's like 50,000 times cooler than them because he's got sunglasses bigger than their bodies.
Yeah. I don't know.
Bigger than multiple of
I don't know how else to
Yeah.
follow that up. You're right. That's just true. So not to call him out or anything, but if my brother's out there, he's a huge Baron main and Janet. This is his bonus update, you know. So it's
It is.
a gift from us to you. So, but those will do it. We have some more skins we're going to talk about, but that's going to do it for now because we have some we got some stuff to dive into. We got some balance to dive into.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Please
and I
nerf
guess we're just
breastplate.
going to hop right into it. So, Conquest. Let's get this out of the way. There's just one little Conquest change coming up. Obviously, you saw the decorations we're adding to the map. It's looking
that was a
beautiful,
Janus
but as we
skin.
move towards Worlds, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel here. Like we're letting our teams get ready and practice so that we see the best of the best play that they're practiced with on this map. But it does look beautiful and kitted up and like excited for SWC with the decoration. But it looks like shield buff is just getting a little touch up.
Yeah, to kind of like add to that preface that you were talking about, a little bit about the world's balance coming up is that this will probably be like the last really solid balance patch going into it. We're still going to be, of course, doing bonus balance and adjustments going
They
forward.
nerfed the
but
shield
don't
buff?
expect like a ton of huge sweeping
There's a
changes.
little spice here.
There's some
There's
spice
a little
here.
spice,
In-
but
in this
not
patch
much.
specifically,
Right.
going forward is what we mean, that it's going to be a little bit toned down to make sure that the competitive viability of that event is staying intact.
Yep.
Nothing crazy switching up after this. This is going to be fun. This is going to be awesome. Going forward, a little bit more about that competitive nature.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So long story short, shield buff just getting a little bit of a decrease per level. Looks like.
Yep, exactly. Shield buff has seen a lot of priority at the highest levels of play. You know, speaking of getting ready for Worlds and SWC and all that kind of stuff. Shield buff value just seems to be a little bit too high right now in the duo lane.
Yeah,
in
towards the late
particular, how many protections you're getting. You know, getting the shield is good, but a lot of the focus becomes the protections that the buff gives you and how heavily that weights trades in your favor among ADCs in particular. So just wanted to reduce that a little bit.
Sounds fair. All right, so we're hopping from Conquest directly into some item nerfs. We've heard y'all talk a lot about the stuff you want to see change, so hopefully we're able to tackle some of that now. And, let's dive right in with Breastplate of Determination.
Yes, so a lot of the things that you're going to see in here are going to
They reverted it.
go in a bunch of different directions. So this specifically has been a core kind of part of a couple of pain points
job, High
talking
Res.
about warrior solos
Proud
and
of
just
you.
like people building a little bit defensively
Proud of
in
you.
general, and that is due to in
Item's
part,
still gonna be good,
a
so
large
anyone
part,
crying, shut the fuck
actually,
up.
Of Breastplate of
You're just shit.
Determination. So we are completely reverting the change that we recently did to it to only the glyph. The base is still staying at its updates that it got recently because before it was basically unpurchased, very unpopular, which
totally
is
out of it.
surprising because it got so popular basically overnight.
Yep.
But yeah, we are still happy with where the base is at. It's just this glyph is kind of way too much. We're bringing it back.
Yes.
Got it. Rock and roll. So moving on, another nerf, Fae Blessed Hoops.
Yeah, so Fabless 2.
That
This one
is
is
more
one
more
that we are
SPL
really excited
targeted,
about.
but
Gotta give a quick
yeah.
shout out to Chaos, the lead programmer here at Titan Forge. This is a highly requested change from the pros on adding an internal cooldown to Fablest.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as simple as just tacking
turn
it
it
on there.
Yeah.
It wouldn't have worked intuitively or the way that we really wanted it to. But Chaos was able to find a really unique way and find us some moments to get in exactly what we wanted to happen. So now Fablest, if you use something, let's say, I don't know, Yamoja 2, which might just be the whole reason why this had to happen. If you use Yamoja 2, if your Fabless is off cooldown, it will drop a flower for each ally that it hits along the way.
Got it.
But it will trigger the cooldown on the first ally that drops a flower. If you then use Yamoja 2 again while the item is on cooldown,
Got it.
no flowers will spawn.
Yep.
Okay.
But as soon as it comes off of cooldown, if you're mid to bounce to an ally, they will drop a flower, proc the cooldown, and then it will go off. So basically, the easy way is the ability that triggers Fablest is able to still drop a flower for each unique god on your team that walks into it, which is the functionality that we really felt like was important to keep it good. But it won't be nearly as abusable by.
I think mage solos are still just as good. Like, I mean, they're weaker, but they're still good and gonna get played.
That those specifically, or
unless they nerf Vamp,
have been toned down a little bit,
or some of the lifesteal.
Next up, we have Fail Not on the list.
Yeah, so this is kind of shifting lanes a little bit over to the duo side, where we've seen a lot of hunters start to pick up this item, especially in this kind of hybrid basic attack and crit build where you can get a little bit of both worlds. This item just had a lot of different things on this passive to where we decided, you know what, all these other things that it does, this is great. It doesn't also need to reduce damage of the enemy that gets marked by it. It's already a great item. It doesn't need this extra bit on top.
Yep.
Sounds good. Well, now we're going to some bling with Telkind's Ring, also getting a nerf.
Yeah, Telkind's and Enchanted Ring both getting a little bit of a nerf here. They're just kind of going hand in hand.
Are they trying to nerf Freya?
Magical ADCs have been really, really strong in the duo lane, and we do like to have some variety there. You know, we don't want it to completely remove these gods from the meta, but they've just been a little bit too prominent for too long, and so we're just taking some power out of Telkind's and Enchanted Ring in particular in order to just bolster up some hunter play there.
Yeah, essentially in the early game as well, because Telkind's tends to be the first one that you're buying, and Enchanted Ring also helps bring down that like power spike a little bit when you've only got the tier 2, and that does affect every single ring. So
I'm kind of surprised they didn't hit mage lifesteal. They're hitting the ring life, like ring items that have lifesteal.
Well.
Got it. So next up, kind of moving up, down, moving to a lower tier on the item tree here with Tiny Trinket and Enchanted Trinket.
Yeah, so this is going to be a whole grouping of items. It's probably going to be best to explain these kind of all at the same time.
Let's dive into
tier 1, tier 2.
First things first, Tiny Trinket is the tier 1 of the lifesteal tree. So everything in the magical lifesteal tree.
You have one less potion in the solo lane.
This item is going up to 600.
So only solo lane mages are building Tiny Trinket first.
Are kind of like problems right now, you might say. So to kind of compensate for that, we are also increasing Enchanted Trinket, which is the tier 2. So it's just kind of shifting around where
the whole item is going up 200 gold.
You're still getting that increase at that tier 2 of Tiny Trinket. Or sorry, Enchanted Trinket, which is on the side of
Or are they going to reduce the top end by
the items
100?
that are remaining the same, that are not getting affected by this at all, are Soul Gems. So that's actually getting a price decrease to kind of compensate for that. So it's staying the same exact price, $23.50. Talent Trinket also staying the exact same price. Bancrofts, the Glyphs, and Typhons, all of those guys.
Okay, so the high end is just
only the tier 1 and the tier 2 of Enchanted Trinket that are getting changed there. Pythags is a little bit of a separate case because it's
really a chalice with Vamp Shroud and Tiny Trinket. Oh, good. Fuck solo laners being able to do that shit.
Of max health.
Yes, so this is the mage solo section.
Yes.
Basically, is the way to think about it, right?
Aha, here we go.
This build gets online really early.
Yes, sir. That was the right item to nerf. Good job.
It has health, it has cooldown, it has power, it has...
Other than Vamp not getting touched yet. Where's that Vamp nerf?
Cooldown buff from the blue totem or the lifesteal buff from the red totem.
Fuck mage solo laners.
Exactly. It compounds...
Say it with me.
So we just want to
mage
slow down
solo laners. Go back to warriors, bitches.
Breastplate of Determination nerf will more heavily affect these solo mages than other archetypes. And then we are increasing the cost for Pythags piece.
I will sleep happy tonight.
As Lermy said, slowing it down in the early game. Decreasing the health on Pythags piece from 200 to 150. And then also we'll have some nerfs for Vampiric Shroud and Blood-Soaked Shroud, just taking 5.
There's no variety in solo lane. You just have variety in solo lane's fun. There's no variety.
Like
everyone is playing mages and getting shit on because they don't know how to play mages. Because guess what? Solo lane players are the worst mechanical players in the game.
Most are being touched in some
You
way.
all play warriors.
As a spoiler,
you don't have mechanics.
Warrior buffs coming to some of their itemization and things like that. We didn't want to overdo it, you know, but we also wanted, this has been a heavy community topic that we wanted to make sure felt like was appropriately addressed. So this is something that we are going to be very closely monitoring. Bonus balance is not too far away. And if it seems like we undershot our target and warriors are still not able to compete quite enough, then you can probably expect more changes in that bonus.
That wasn't needed.
In this, section, I guess you could say, is that the change to Vampiric and to Tiny Trinket is going to heavily impact our early game, especially because the cost increase means you get one less pot, and the power on Vampiric Shroud means that clearing is going to be a little less good as well. So you are getting
I wonder
less
how
sustain and less power
significant
going forward in
that clear is. Like this might that probably does kill mage solos.
Awesome. I mean, that was a lot too.
That's like
so
the whole core to the build.
That was a lot of changes, a lot of back and forth. Make sure to check out the update notes. They should be
Mage
live
solos.
now. If they happen to not be live now, it's because our website's in a headlock. We're trying to get
Now,
it
if
to
in some weird world we shift into like
but it should be live now.
Assassin
so
Hunter solo,
if you really want to get all of
fuck
those
them too.
details and read it for yourself. It's all there. So I guess you talked about item buffs. I guess it's time to dive into item buffs. But we're kicking it off with Absolution, a little bit of max health.
So Absolution is a really cool item.
It is.
And it's unfortunate because we haven't seen very much of it. And that's mostly, in our estimation, due to just the challenge of being able to keep your team coordinated and playing around it, and also having to spend such an expensive resource like an ultimate to actually get that cool effect. So one thing that we're trying to do is we like that high risk reward challenge area of it. We just kind of want it to be more stat efficient for when you're not actually like getting that incredible reward, because again, it is very challenging to do. We just want to make sure that you're not sad if you mess it up and you're like, well, now I just have not great stats at this point.
No, that makes perfect sense. Another item that at least I don't see super often, Abyssal Stone, getting a little bit of a touch-up.
Yeah, I'm an Abyssal Stone abuser for sure. I love this item, and we're just giving it a little bit more magical protection.
Got it.
So much of what makes these mage solos really oppressive is that they just have more abilities to use. They're just, with their cooldown reduction, all that kind of stuff we just touched, they're just using so many abilities. Abyssal Stone can slow that down. And so by giving it a little bit more magical protection, makes it a little bit more efficient. Can be a good second item for these warriors in the solo lane. Potentially even a first item if you don't need the help clearing, and that should hopefully help their lane a little bit and remove some of that strength of what they're relying
just
on.
tone it down a little bit, make it more manageable.
Yep.
Cool. So next up is Amulet of Silence.
Yeah, this is another cool one as well, because Amulet of Silence, just like
these are
base
not
stat-wise,
cool
very, very
items,
good.
bro.
But the passive is pretty inconsistent.
These
When you
items
get
are
it off, it feels
fucking
great,
just
but the thing
bottom
is
of
that
the
it
barrel,
it's
boring
very
as
hard
fuck.
to actually purposefully play around, because it requires, again, enemies to do something. And
It's
it requires
funny
them to
'cause
do
at one
a lot of
point
things.
when this
So by
was
the time it
on,
actually happens that you can do it, it's kind
it was
of
on the
too late
runic
by that
shield
point. They
or whatever
already
the fuck
cast
it was
their whole
called.
kit. So
You
to
could either
kind of
silence.
address
That shit was
we want to
OP.
bring the stat count
At
down
one point,
from
the
4 to
item was
3,
OP because
so
it
there's
had way
three
too many
abilities that have to
stats,
be in
way
range
too
with
much
it, and also
power,
can happen
and
at
you
any
could just jump on a
point.
mage and they couldn't play the game because they were
Make
silenced.
sure that you're sitting around them. Try not to get hit, but
On Chile, yeah, that's what it was. On
happens,
Chile.
like, you're ready.
yeah,
So,
exactly.
next up, Erendite, kind of a shift in the speed.
It wasn't fine on
This one is a little
Chile.
bit
It was
spicy.
OP.
Erudite, when you
Oh!
can make use of the passive, it's really, really good. But it's time gated. Not
Mercury
everybody
buff
uses that passive
bitches.
super well. And there was
Nemesis
so much
buff
strength in
bitches.
the passive
Just fuck
that
the
we felt like
passive.
we couldn't make the overall base item
I got
better
7% all
because
the time?
passive was so strong.
Let's go.
So we're doing a little bit of a shift here. We're removing some of that strength from the passive. We're decreasing the movement speed on
Wait,
the
does
Erudite
Erendite have
proc
4
from
stats now?
30% to 20%. But you're just going to get 7% movement speed all the time. So it's kind of like a katana. The katanas are normally the movement speed items, but Erendite is an assassin-specific item, really, that is really designed for them. So giving them that movement speed feels appropriate and should hopefully make this item a little bit more consistent.
Yeah, even though it's less movement speed overall, just the fact that you have it all the time, very, very strong.
It makes up for that 3%.
Yeah, exactly.
So now to move on to just bonk.
Oh, no,
Just
it's
pure
3
bonk.
stats and a
Brawler's-
passive.
Brawler's
Okay,
beat
okay,
stick,
okay.
Getting some more power.
Yeah, so we're keeping an eye on
Hey,
those
I was just saying this. And that's my build. They buffed my build.
That we gotta make sure that everything's
Right
under
when they
control
nerf
there.
mages,
Kind of
so I don't
wanna
need to run this build
incentivize a little
anymore.
bit more brawlers
Actually, this
purchases.
might kill
Sometimes it can
tanks.
feel like
This might be a
pretty
tank
big
killing build.
trade-off if you're going this relatively early, first or second. You're like, am I trading a Joltons? Am I
They should have
trading
hit the
a
passive, though.
Transcendence? That has a lot
This
of
item has
power.
the worst passive
this
out
is
of
gonna
all
make
the
it so
items in
that,
Smite.
like, trade that you have
And
to
I'm
do
not
is
exaggerating. I'm
as
being dead serious. It's the worst
painful,
passive in the game.
Got it.
For you, not for
Yes,
them.
the
It's
enemy is
actually
gonna
more
have-
painful
Whoever you're
for
hitting.
them.
Yeah, not a good time.
It's going to be pretty rough. But so next up, Corrupted Bluestone. Looks like overall just getting a little bit of a touch-up.
Yeah, I mean, Bluestone, we know we have to be very careful with base Bluestone and then
It has history.
Bluestone Brooch because it can become.
Are they
dominant
trying to
very
buff
quickly.
like
But
Bluestone
Corrupted
Osiris?
just hasn't been able to fill the more defensive side of the Bluestone.
Or
upgrade. If you're an
like
offensive character like
AMC?
a Sun Wukong, Bluestone Brooch feels great, but for those characters that
Arch,
want
thank you for the
to get a
21
little bit
months. Chewy,
tankier
thank you for
in
the 2
game
years,
that
brother.
Really like Bluestone to help clear them early. Gods like Vamana.
Yeah.
Something like Corrupted being more viable can help them a lot. So we are just increasing that damage over time duration from 5 seconds to 6 seconds. That means it just does more damage because we're not adjusting the damage itself, and we're increasing the protection increase per stack from 4% to 5%, and percent increases of a number that's already pretty big most of the time. You'll be mid 200s for protections hopefully. We think that this will be pretty impactful.
Yeah, that sounds huge. I mean, again, it's a constant thing in this. You think 1%, you're like, oh wow, it's 1%, and then you realize
Times a couple
you're
times,
like
yeah.
that's
I don't know why they
So,
won't
last
just
gas
tweak the
next up. Looks
passive
like it's
on
gonna be a
brawlers.
couple seconds worth of love to both the buff and the internal cooldown.
I feel like this
Yeah, so
item
we talked
sucks
a little
ass.
bit about the healing kind of countering.
Yeah.
Let's
Such
talk
a
about
shit
the healing
item.
bolstering as well, because last gasp is a really interesting item where it is a little bit difficult to use, and we're kind of happy with that challenge of needing to be very particular about who you're healing to get that extra burst of power, but we want it to be a little bit easier to not have to worry so much about, am I using my last gasp proc, am I like wasting
getting
it
it off?
essentially. So what we've done is we've kind of increased the consistency of it by going for a longer buff duration and a decreased internal cooldown. So what this means is you could have it up 100% of the time, but most characters aren't going to have a heal at this 8-second timer. So
That's
it's really just you not having to worry so much about, again, like
If
wasting
Brawlers
a
had
proc
Divine
in terms
Ruin
of, like,
passive, it would be
explosive
broken.
health. If
So I
you
couldn't do
do
that.
want to get that proc, it will almost certainly be up every single time that you've got that healing ability.
Rock and roll. Yeah, that sounds good. Now, you gotta love a mechanic that you gotta work for, but it's a little forgiving. You know?
Yep.
So Mail of Renewal next on the list, kind of on the similar tree anyway.
Yeah, similar here. I mean, Mail of Renewal, we're happy with how it feels for the god purchasing the
Yeah.
Mail of Renewal. They get the heal all at once whenever the passive is triggered.
Yeah.
But allies around them, they receive that heal over 10 seconds. And
That's a long time.
in a MOBA
long
like
time.
Smite, that's basically an eternity.
It's a whole team fight.
So we are just going to cut that time in half. The overall heal is remaining entirely the same.
Exactly.
Got
It's
it.
just getting to you in half the time. So hopefully that'll make it feel a little bit more consistent.
Makes sense. So Manticore Spikes next up, one of those fun new items. Just getting some health though.
Yeah, so this is a fun item, right? So
It
you
is.
can do a lot of CCing, you get to pick up the spikes and do a little bit more damage, and
Yeah.
that damage is based on
Why
health.
do they want
So being
Manticore
able
Spike to
kind
be
of have
meta?
A bigger contribution from the item itself.
This
which
item
is
when
going
it's
to help
meta
you
is
also
broken as
increase
fuck.
that
I don't know
damage
why
multiplier.
they like
a little bit
need it to
tankier,
be
a little
meta.
bit more damage in turn, so just a nice little buff for Manticores.
Rock
Taz.
and roll. Mantle of Discord is next on the list. Little bit of a decrease in cost.
Yeah,
What
who-
the
I mean,
fuck?
If you would have told me like a year and a half ago that Mantle is like completely fallen out of the meta, like no one buys it, I would have been like, what has happened?
This item is good. It's not. It's not purchased because it's bad.
Because if it has both
It's
of those,
not
I feel like
purchased
it's gotta
because
be
you're
really
getting
good.
cooldown from other
But we're just
items.
Seeing that Mantle of Discord's purchase rate is way down.
If
and its win
they
rate is
make
also
this
way down.
item,
So
honestly,
it just
that
needs
cost
help,
change might be enough to
in
make people
that
just build this item early
2900
every
gold,
game.
This is for more tanks than backline, hopefully. 2900 is just so expensive for
a lot.
supports. 2750 still puts in the luxury tier for them for sure, but it is such a potent effect that we want to make
People
sure
are
that
gonna
it
build
is
this
too
again.
accessible,
It'll probably get built
especially
early
now.
too, rather than last.
Exactly.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, another one of those really fun
'Cause the
items
stats
that
are good. It's like fucking
always
60
goes with fun
procs of
builds,
each,
I
right?
think. Relic Dagger plus its glyphs getting a little bit of cooldown reduction.
Yeah, this is actually a huge one, I
It
think,
is.
because
Yep.
being able to get those relics up a little bit faster, 10 seconds faster, is not a small amount by any
Oh, no.
means.
Oh, it's
And
45?
especially
Oh,
now
yeah,
this
when they nerfed
contributes to
procs, I
Eldritch
forgot,
Dagger as
45
well,
each.
to where you'll be able to get that Eldritch passive.
It used to be 60.
more
What the
frequently
fuck
as
is
well.
this?
I mean, this is just such a very fun buff for a fun item that just has a little bit trouble slotting in sometimes.
Fun item, fun
So,
buff, fun game.
We're bringing it in.
Fun
There's your 10
text.
seconds. Go crazy. Sentinel's Boon is up next. A little bit of increased health and some gold assist, it looks like.
Yeah, the Boon Goons just needed some help.
That's true.
We heard their cry for help, and we decided to give it to them. Just increasing that health restore in the assist gold. This is the more selfish is the word that comes to mind, but even for supports, you're not really spending that gold selfishly.
Yeah.
But it is the income-focused upgrade, especially in that tree, and we just wanted to make sure that it felt
I feel like
competitive
that
with Sentinel's Embrace,
on
which is
a
so strong for its aura.
Yeah.
like
And the thing to
supporty
consider about this as well
hybrid
is that 20
mage
gold per
support
assist seems
should be
insane,
good.
Right?
A
It
lot.
seems crazy.
Right?
This is gated by being the lowest gold on your team, though. So the
Yes.
second that you're not the lowest gold anymore, you're not getting that assist gold anymore.
not a
So
problem. So,
that's not even a problem to worry about.
You're not
It'll
going to
catch you up, though.
money
Yes,
back.
it will catch you up. It will keep you aligned.
Yes.
I love that I've been doing this show for so many years, and like I feel like every show you hit me with something new. So now Boon Goons is going to be
Yep.
part of my Smite dictionary now.
Oh, yeah.
So Silverbranch Bow up next.
Yeah, Silverbranch, I mean, we are talked about the magical ADCs being
What are you
really
talking
prevalent.
about, Mama?
You look at the
Oh.
physical ADCs that are seeing play right now in the dual
Oh,
lane.
I just
Things
started
like
building
Ana,
this.
Hachiman, not exactly your
I just
stim
put this in
hunters,
my
and
jungle
when
builds
we think
last
of
night.
What stim hunters like more than other traditional hunters, it's Silverbranch Bow. You know, this is where they can get their payoff
Let's
for their big attack speed stim in the late game. We're just going to
This
lean
item
into
is
its strength
already
on that
busted. I
passive. We've
don't
seen
know
in the past
why
when the
no
base
one's
stats of this
realized
item are
yet.
Too good. Everyone just buys it, and it's not really unique for being
stats
used
are
for its
OP as
passive.
fuck.
We want to keep it in line with that
So wait.
identity, but reward those types of characters.
Hold on,
who
it's
use it.
3 power per stack and it's 40 stacks max, right?
I actually passed it. Garage sale, Staff of Mirrodin looked like it was on sale for a little
So
bit.
that item can have
It is
145
true,
power?
It is true. Kind of like Silverbranch, but for a different class of characters,
Yeah.
for the mages. There are only
Wait, that's
some
insane, 'cause Hunt- that's
characters
gotta- that's gotta be
use
meta
Life
Hunter
Mirrodin
build
very
again.
well. I can think of a couple off the top of my head, but those guys are just going to get a little bit of
Is
help
it
with the
20
way
max
that you
stacks now, or is
can
it 40?
Just a little bit more easily now. 50 gold off is
It's
not
40, right?
insane.
Because I had 40
Also,
last
this item
night.
has
Yeah,
good
it's I had
stats
40
already.
last night.
It's just a little hard to justify going.
So it's 145
Rock and
power
roll, sounds good.
on Silverbranch.
Vision Shard coming up next.
total,
for those,
including
Warrior
item plus
enthusiasts.
passive.
Yeah, I mean a lot of support focused buffs in this
That's-
patch,
Yeah.
and this is
that
another
is
one.
like 3
they're-
items in
all
one.
the shards,
What the
they're
fuck?
exciting immediate effects. It doesn't feel quite as exciting to get vision, but oftentimes it can actually be more valuable than
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
that, I'm gonna
actual
put that in my
shard,
Merc build
that you could have had in that spot.
and in all my
It felt
fucking
like with the
builds
strength
with a
of
stim
shards
in
as
it.
they are,
Or
we're
active
happy
build.
with how good all Carapace and Horn Shard and
Yeah.
Wing Shard, all of those feel really, really good. We just don't want to bring everything down to Vision Shards level. We just want to bump it up a little bit.
Yeah.
So if you are a Vision focused player, the Vision Shard will be a little bit stronger.
A little more of an ally to you. So to round out item buffs, it looks like we're getting some axe love. So
Yes.
starting with Warrior's Axe.
Yes, the Warrior's Axe, the starter, is going to be getting increased sustain.
They-
from 20
they
plus 1
trying to bring the
30 plus
Warriors
1.5
back.
per level. This is actually a revert from a previous point in time to when it was very strong. So we're trying to give those warriors that would like to
They're
use
trying.
the axe a little bit better of a time in the early game, especially considering that sustain aspect, which will help them keep fighting, keep up with that attack. And so that's kind of the early game idea for
Now
axe.
Silverbranch is
Going
40
into the late
stacks
game, though,
again.
we've got
I
Axe
played it
Avalanche
last night
build
on stream,
first,
so you
which
can
is
go
the
see it.
health-focused one. This one's just going to get increased health from 250 to 300. And like we were talking about for Manticore Spike, because this item does damage based on health, the more health you have, the more damage
the
you're
better
doing. So
passive.
you're getting a little bit of contribution both ways for that
Yeah,
one.
awesome.
Yep.
And then finally, Sundering Axe. This is also going back to.
So they're trying to get AA warriors back in the meta, 100%.
Previously 1.5, now back up
I'm
to
not gonna
2%,
lie.
and that's just going to help you do a
Like
little
right
bit
at this
of
moment,
damage
I'd be
with
okay with it. I'm sure
threatening
after
as
a
late
week
game.
of playing against them, I hate
Rock
it.
and
But
roll. Well, all
it's
super
been a
good,
while.
and that does it for the item balance. But we got gods coming up. But this is the point where I say, remember to check out those patch notes if you want to really follow along and see.
All right,
all
what
these
are they
numbers and read it
buffing,
with
bro?
us, 'cause,
We getting a Scylla buff?
These are some good changes, and we have a few really neat ones. I'm excited for us to get
We
into.
getting a
as we
Scylla
get
buff?
into gods. But first off, we're gonna start with some nerfs, and we're going straight to Athena. What's up?
Yeah, so
Athena's
Athena
3 is
has been
overtuned,
really, really
as
strong
I
for a
told
little bit
them.
now at all levels of play. She's seen
I
a
told
lot of
them the 3
success,
was busted.
But what she does is fairly
Before the god got buffed.
You know, she just has very good setup CC and a global ultimate, and the other parts of her kit are there.
I feel
but
like that
isn't
change
where a lot of her
isn't where the
power
problem
budget,
is,
so to
but
speak,
whatever.
really spent. We don't want to.
This dude just said
completely
Scylla doesn't need a
remove,
buff. Baba
this
Yaga
feature
needs
if
a
we don't
buff.
have
Well,
to,
we can tell where
the
your
attack
skill
speed
lies.
Debuff from Confound. We feel like that is a big feels good for Athena. That as good as Confound is, and as good
Silverbranch
as
at
it
max
seems right
stacks now
there
is
were
30 more
years,
power than XC
recently
Kids and
where it
Aussie
felt like
combined.
its ability had fallen off in its usefulness. So we still want for her to maintain some amount of agency in surviving. A little bit easier when she uses Confound, but we just want her to
Yeah,
earn it
that's
through the
a
max.
meta item,
So
boys.
instead of just starting at 30% and remaining 30% throughout the game, it will now be a little bit easier to damage her when she taunts you in the early game, scaling that Confound up to that 30% when she maxes it.
That makes sense. Logical change.
Holy,
cool. So next
3
up,
items
a
in
little
one.
creepier, Baba Yaga. Looks like the cabin and the
Nerfed.
brew both getting adjusted a little.
Nerf!
Yeah, so for Baba, it's very interesting because you would think there's a lot of really cool
Your stacks are
stacking item
slower now.
opportunities for
Get
Baba
shit
to
on.
go
You asked for
in
Baba
the
buffs,
actual,
we
like,
give you Baba
mage
nerfs,
oriented
bitch.
buffs. We're not seeing that. We're seeing some thieves, we're seeing some prophetic cloaks, and in general, it's not that we want to discourage her from stacking, but we wanted to make sure that if she is stacking these items, she's going about it a little bit more.
One of my YouTube viewers asking for a Baba buff.
She's actually going through the motions, so she's
Baba's
going to get,
OP as fuck.
basically in her passive, she gets stacks from moving her house around, from doing all those things, and so she needs more stacks now on her house to be able to convert those into actual item stacks. So just a little bit
nice, that's
harder to
you.
stack the items now,
Fuck
and then
you.
additionally, even when she has these defensive items, it's kind of surprising sometimes how much damage she's actually doing with her abilities. So we wanted to target one of her kind of earlier abilities, which is Baba's Brew, which of course you can double up by putting one in your pocket and then pulling out the other one and hanging onto it for when you need it. So we're just bringing that base damage down a little bit. across the board, and that's going to help
A double
keep that
nerf.
clear and just her late game
Baba
ability to
dying.
be tanky and do damage all at the same time.
Got it. Hey, I'm all for it. So I mean, and what a crazy passive too. It's one that I feel like I always forget exists, and then you
Yep.
start playing, you're like, man, this is great. So
Yep.
it makes sense.
Feels nice.
So next up, a hunter that I feel like has gotten a lot of play recently, Chernobog.
Yeah,
Nerf
you'd be
to the
right.
ground.
He has gotten a lot of play
All
recently, and
cooldown?
He's won a lot of
I
those,
know.
Oh,
of those
shit.
games. Yeah, we are hitting
Passive?
Chernobog pretty hard here. He's proven to be pretty nerf resistant.
Yeah.
Wait, that's
after
passive,
his
right?
Spicy
Yeah,
changes.
yeah.
And so we're hitting him in a couple places. Number one, Heart of Cold. This is his passive. It deals 20% of your basic attack damage as bonus damage to that target and an AoE around them. We're decreasing that by 5% down to 15%. And that's really important in particular because when he uses his ultimate, he gets that explosion really quickly. It doesn't need that 3-stack sort of build up. So this is going to make his ultimate a little bit less potent offensively. We are increasing the cooldown of Crystallized Curses. That's his 1. It was going down by 1 second per rank, and this is an ability that you're maxing first.
Yeah.
We're instead going to make that 0.5 seconds per rank. So now instead of dropping out at 11 seconds,
What's up,
it's now
Troll?
13
Thank you for the
seconds,
gifted.
when that's maxed.
This
which
is
should be pretty
nuts.
impactful. And then
They are
the cooldown on
fucking
Vicious Barrage.
Chernobog up.
We like the direction that he's gone with this lower cooldown stim. It's
They
so
are
important to his kit.
fucking
It's the
Chernobog
catalyst for the
up.
AR1. But it
Holy
was up
shit.
a little bit.
Just
Too
a little
often.
too.
So 7 to 8
Yeah.
seconds on that cooldown.
Especially with things like Fail Not being kind of in his wheelhouse.
Yes.
Okay,
Getting a
it's
cooldown on
very
that really
likely
helps a lot.
Yes, it did. Yeah, he was,
that
he
we
was abusing that a little
shift
bit too.
into
Well,
just
good to
right
hear.
back
So
into a
this next
pure
change,
AA
less words,
hunter
but
meta,
still
and then
pretty
like
spicy
Ul,
looking.
because Ul does well
Mama
against them.
Brigitte, one of our newest.
Like
What are
Rama.
you talking about?
Yeah.
You know about Mama? All
I
right.
know-
Well,
I
they're
know- I know a
nerfing
thing or two
Mama?
about Mama. Yeah,
That's a massive
there's
nerf, bro.
Obviously, been a lot of discussion.
That is an
I read every
insane
single
quality
thread
of life
about
nerf.
Maman that comes out.
This
and
is right up
I
there with when
definitely don't
they
take
took away
anything
knockup immunity from
personally.
Tsukiyomi too, bro.
There's just
This
been
is
lot of
a
discussion.
huge
She
fucking
is
nerf.
A character that is very polarizing.
Yeah.
All damage.
Because I use that all the time to be knockup immune.
polarizing
All the
because
fucking time
they
to
just hit
engage.
a point where they either do enough to kill you and they're really good, or they don't do enough to kill you, and because they have next to no utility, they are basically worthless.
Yeah.
So want to be careful about how much damage we remove from Maman at a time. And looking at her stats, looking at the way that she's performing at all levels, we feel like we can still wait a little bit to see how her damage is kind of transforming as players do get better at playing against her.
Yeah.
Players are also improving playing at her. And a big place we're seeing that is in the knockup immunity on Party Trick. It is really, really quick to come out. You don't have to expend an extremely long cooldown to do it. You can use it for knockup immunity, instantly cancel it. Use it for knockup immunity, instantly cancel it.
Yeah.
That proved to remove too much counterplay from her. So we are just going to straight up remove the knockup immunity from
My
Party
only
Trick
problem
entirely.
with that
it will put it
is
back. You won't.
it'll put the one on
lose the
cooldown if you're
you won't
using it.
Initiate your slam if you're.
So if
knocked
you're
up with Fire
initiating
Breath,
the slam and
just
you get knocked up, it
cancel
puts it
out.
on cooldown and your slam
But
doesn't go
it's
off.
Another opportunity to
And it's
CC
got to be
her,
one of the only abilities that's
and
like
we didn't
that
wanna
in the
give her-
game.
she has a lot of survivability tools already with a CC immune ultimate and a dash that it turns out people think is pretty good. So we wanted to just remove one of those immunities from her so that people can have a little bit of an easier time against her.
Got it. That
Now you
makes
just
sense.
shift over to
That's
using
one
your
of
ult
those
for immunity all the
skill
time.
ceiling type things. Like you release it first couple patches, not really a problem, right? But then people are starting to learn like how to flick that for the immunity. It's cool to watch people learn, but then you're like, oh wow, that's really strong when you get your hands on it. So
Yeah, it was just one of the most requested changes that we saw in a lot of her threads. So we're happy to provide the community with a little bit of more opportunity to play against her, and hopefully this will reduce some frustration.
Got it. So we have one more nerf remaining in the God sections here, and that's Raijin. Got some drumming.
Yes. So Raijin got a spicy buff at a time where a lot of cooldown things happened all at once, and you know,
Are they gonna
he
kill
likes
him?
the cooldown. That's like his whole thing is that he's got a passive that refreshes cooldown.
Okay.
He's got the new addition to
I
his
feel like
passive that
that's
also
not
increases cooldown
overkill in a
even more.
nerf. That's
We're kind
fine.
of shifting cooldown. You'll see that theme is the whole
This
deal
is
here with
so
Mr.
far
Raijin.
we're fine.
So he
Still
he
gonna
was
be
like
OP.
the classic mage solo.
We're not over
contender,
yet.
Where he's getting picked up more in solo than he was in mid, and a lot of that has to do.
Daniel,
with
thank you for the
cooldown
13 months,
buff,
brother.
Breastplate being so good, all of these things kind of compounded, but we are also going to hit him because he was just overperforming in mid as well. So
Yes.
everywhere across the board, Raijin was good. So what are we actually doing? Well, first things first, charge tempo. This specific cooldown reduction that we're talking about here is when he does the 4 stacks of his passive, uses that 5th ability, then it's only going down 1.5 seconds instead of the 2 seconds that it previously was. Next up, we've got Percussive Storm. This is his main clear ability, and this is on a flat 10-second cooldown that was also getting reduced.
It
by
was,
basic,
yeah,
getting
it
reduced
was
by passive,
insane
getting
how
reduced
fast that
by,
ability would come back up.
Blue Totem, all this stuff. We've been through this.
So
but,
it's technically like a
essentially,
2.5 second nerf.
going up 2 seconds.
to
So
the
that
item.
may seem like a lot, but again, he's got a lot of ways to refresh this cooldown. So even though this may look like a big nerf, it has to be contributed through all of those different factors that we're talking about. Last thing, Thunder Crash. This is his movement ability. The cooldown is going up from 15 to 17, down to 15 again. So basically what this is going to do is make him a little bit more
Alright,
punishable.
so that's an all-around
in the
nerf.
early to the mid
Hitting a
game.
lot of
You're
cooldowns.
probably going to be leveling this one up last. So this is kind of your last couple of levels. You will be going back to that.
I like
15
these
seconds,
changes.
But until that point,
I
that
don't
is
think
2
he'll be at the
milliseconds
top of the mages
minus
now.
all
I
the
think
gear
he'll be
that you
good,
will
though.
also need to
Playable.
be able to
Playable.
punish Raijin for getting out of position, going a little too
I think
crazy
we
with
might
the
just see
jump.
like Kukulkan
I mean, he
come
went
up
from
towards like number
completely
1 outside of being
unplayable in the
counterpicked by
community
CC
sentiment
gods.
to one of the best characters in the game, and the stats did reflect that. But we didn't give him very much damage, and the damage that we did give him, we already nerfed. He's not doing significantly more damage than before per ability cast. He's just casting more often than he was before. So we have. This is.
I feel like that's not accurate. He's definitely doing more damage.
Has ever gotten all at once.
His damage is insane, and you can
hopefully
see
this
it.
will make a big dent
Because that
in
2 will do like
Raijin's
900
It
damage.
certainly should.
Yes, we expect it will.
Slow down that drum solo a little. So cool. That does it for God nerfs this time around. So
All right, who you buffing?
Gonna highlight this. Obviously, we love doing these.
Is Nem getting a
Or
buff?
We love getting these out to the community because we listen to what y'all
Solo
say.
getting
We
a
listen to
buff?
Y'all say, hey, this is really strong. Maybe
Who else?
back it off.
Apollo getting a
little.
buff?
Maybe she doesn't need knock up immunity when she's spitting fire. So like, continue to give us this feedback, please. We're like, I'll say this every time because I love being in these conversations with y'all, even if it's not.
Bro, I don't
me,
know
even
if some of
reach
you
out to
guys
somebody
are
else or whatever.
like just not
always throw these
smart.
recommendations at
But
us
when
because
my
it
mods
helps
tell you
us
the
find
rules
ways to
are
make the game more
don't
fun for y'all.
spoil
So
stuff that's on
gotta
text and
give a
hasn't been
spiel
said in
out of
the
way. I love-
stream
I
yet,
love thanking the
and you
community.
argue with them, you look like a fucking fool.
So let's get into some
Especially if
buffs
you're an
now.
adult, you look
Let's
like a
talk about
dumbass.
which gods are getting stronger. Starting with one of the beesiest boys, one of my favorite beezy boys, Amuz and Cobb.
Yeah, AMC has really been absent from the meta for a longer period of time than is typical for him.
Okay,
We
where
didn't
travel
want
time on the
to
2 is
increase
actually
his
fucking
clear
insane.
potential or his poke
Bobby?
potential because those are really good. His all-in is also really good. But we were just taking a look at some abilities, and Swarm feels really quick because it's so big.
Yeah.
But when we looked at the actual like projectile speed, it was really slow.
It was one of the slowest in the
You
game.
used to not level this
Crazy.
basically
And it
because you
doesn't
could
feel
never
that
hit
way,
anybody with
but
it.
It does translate into not hitting nearly as many of those swarms as you think you should be able to. So we are simply increasing its projectile speed by 33%. That may sound like it's going to be an instant auto hit all the time. It is not. It is. You should.
It's like
notice
a
the
normal
difference.
ability travel
You
speed
should
now,
not be
'cause
getting
that
hit by
ability
match
moves
range
so
swarms,
slow.
that
Yes.
you see coming.
It is not unjukable. I would say it's even slower than things like Apollo 1 still.
Significantly.
Apollo 1 got
But
sped
it's
up.
just a little bit more consistency there because we really did not want to
Weird.
give him more damage or utility. We
Yep.
just wanted consistency over anything else.
Yep.
Rock and roll. I love that y'all gave this really eloquent explanation, but in my head, the only thing I can think of is they gave him faster bees.
He's fast.
So cool. So next up, God
That's
near and
it?
dear to my heart, Atlas, the big boy, getting some love.
What the fuck?
Yeah, so Atlas is a very interesting case because a lot of times he seems like he's really good, but the stats say he's not good. So thanks to our absolute data goat, Max, or Innocent Rabbit, as the community may know him as, we got a lot of detailed information as to why these characters are not performing as they should be, or perhaps, why they're underperforming in some ways. And so the data that we were looking at Atlas, like through a bunch of various slices, was that essentially boiled down to a very simple reason why is that he's dying a lot.
Okay.
We're like, okay, so how can we help him not die as much?
Yeah.
Like more deaths on average than many other guardians in his class.
Huh,
Yep.
Okay.
So essentially what we are doing is to increase his
Watch him give him CC immunity on his ult.
physical protections per level in his just general existence, his character,
Is leveling up.
more or less. From 3.5 to
There's no way
3.7,
that
so
these
it doesn't
props
seem like a lot, but that's
are
every
not,
single
like, there's
level
gotta
you're
be
getting
something
that's
else
gonna
that's
add up over
big.
time. And then we are adjusting Gamma Ray Burst, which is his ultimate, and that is increasing the power reduction per stack from 2% to 3%. So whenever you put down that beam on enemies, it's going to make them deal less damage to you and essentially all of your other teammates as well. So that's going to be keeping you alive a little bit as well, because they're not going to be able to hurt you as much. So
Right.
you'll have to see that.
Nice. Well, shout out to the GOAT Innocent Rabbit. Gotta love
That's
those
our goat.
numbers.
Yep.
So moving on to Shock, one of the classics here.
Yeah, a classic indeed. Speaking of Max and some of the numbers we were diving in for Chalk, he just wasn't keeping up in damage in the later stages of the game. So that's why his landing phase is going well. His survivability is good. He just isn't providing enough threat in the later stages. So we're just giving him some more
We
threat.
really getting Warriors
5%
back.
scaling on Thunder Strike, so that's the one. And a little bit of base damage on Torrent.
They want him back.
To the point now where when I'm playing Chalk mid, which I will be playing in a game near you very soon.
Holy fuck.
But even in
What?
on Chalk solo, I think Torrent is actually the right ability to max now. With this 40 base damage at rank 5 is a lot.
That's a lot. A lot of damage.
And gives him a lot of prots, fairly low cooldown. This ability is really, really good. So Chalk's a damage character now with these buffs.
Chalk is a threat.
You can build him tank and be fine, but you could also play him mid full damage and slam. That's my recommendation.
You heard it from the devs here first. So
Yeah,
Is that
singular
all the
dev, one dev,
changes?
yes.
That too is a significant change because base damage is nuts,
you heard
but
it from
is that
a single
it?
dev, all the other devs
That's
were
it. He's not gonna be
saying.
OP.
So cool. Next up,
That'll
the
get
guy
more
that always
annoying.
makes me sweat because I know I never pronounced the name correctly. Kukulin.
Yeah, so
Nailed it.
Kukulin. You did it, yeah.
Practice.
So Kukulin has
Holy
not
fuck.
really had his time to shine.
8
this
base
year, one
damage a
bit.
tick on the two?
He's been out of the meta. Even when Bluestone was really good, that tends to be when we see him a lot. And of course, he's probably not going to be there when Mage solos are very
Mystical
good
mail
either,
back?
because he-
Hold
even
on,
though
we
he's got
maxing
a
the
pretty
two
solid
on
game,
Kukulin and
it
pulling
just,
Mystical Mail?
wasn't enough to contend with those. So alongside our warrior item
Contagion
buffs, we're also gonna
returns?
be giving Kukulin a buff because again he needs it since he wasn't even here when we were the strongest.
Yep.
So now he's getting a little bit of extra damage on Vent Anger. So this is both in his detransformed and his transformed state, just going to be doing a little bit more damage. Not at rank 1 though, very important because again that's like kind of his breaking point a little bit that you might say. Is like
You
when
max
he
his
gets that
ability
transform
last, so
up
this is
early
just so
and
the
late,
dot
he's
does
just
something
able to
late
get
game.
all this free Vent Anger damage, that can be a little bit
They're
dangerous
trying to make
in
these
that lane.
warriors
So
not
getting it when you
be
start to rank it
completely
up,
shit
to give you a
late
little bit
game.
more of that late game threat that we were talking about for Chalk.
Yep.
That's kind of it. And then this is the spicy one. This is the very important one that you're going to want to look out for in your games, is that Spear of Mortal Pain, and this is only Spear of Mortal Pain, by the way, not Warcry, not when you're transformed. This cooldown is getting decreased from 100 seconds at all ranks to 100 to 80 seconds.
Yeah.
So a lot
Okay,
more threat
hold on,
in the
hold
lane
on,
game
hold
we were
on.
talking
Hi-Rez,
about.
I said
Kukulin
nerf the
generally is
mages, not
very,
buff
very
the
solid lane
warriors.
character, but falls off a lot in the late game.
Too much.
Now you're gonna at least have more
What the fuck is
chances
going
to
on?
get into
Hold on.
this transformed state, provide a
Hold
really,
the fucking phone
really
here.
good team fight
We're only
ultimate. On
3
top of
warriors
it,
deep? What is going
we're
on?
gonna see him a little bit more. I sure hope so after this.
Yeah.
Pause here for a
Really
second.
relies on that ultimate
Relax.
to
Let's
generate
rethink
enough
the
rage
rest of these
to
patch
transform in
notes.
the late game.
Calm down.
It's a strong ult, but one that's pretty
20
telegraphed.
seconds
pretty
off the
slow,
ult.
Lots of ways to
That
immune
ult is
it.
fucking
Not
annoying.
on AO1 anymore, but lots of other ways.
That basically means
so we
he's
feel
gonna
like we can give him
transform.
more
He's gonna ult,
speeds of
transform,
Mortal Pain,
deform, and ult again, and then retransform.
there's lots
It's
of
gonna be on a perfect cooldown.
And again, not Warcry.
Not work.
Not Warcry.
No,
Just in the most metal sounding way ever. More spears of mortal pain.
that's right.
So next up, a less metal and much more cuddly, but like incredibly enjoyable god, Danza Burrow. I love Danza.
Yeah, Danza. Wow, we went spicier than this than I remembered. That was I was like, wow, I just remembered what we did here. The base damage on the two 10 at all ranks because that ability doesn't hit that hard. Cool. No. We're not that excited about that. Well, we are, but we aren't. Tanuki Trickery. This is his 3. Where he does the dance. He's got his zone of empowerment, right?
His little guard.
ADC mains will tell you this ability is super good because it is really hard to trade against him when he's
Alright,
in
we're getting
that
a,
zone.
Danza
because
buff?
It was a ton of basic attack
What?
damage mitigation.
Whoa.
And he gets haste.
Him going down too?
That zone. Absolute beast when he's trading in there. For me, as a more mage player, I see him pop the 3 and I'm like, oh, he's faster. And that's all I don't really care about it otherwise.
Oh, no.
So across the
AoE.
whole circle.
Yeah, exactly.
Poseidon will pull the whole circle.
Yes. Here's a quack in your garden.
Surrounded with a Zeus ult. There you go.
Right, exactly. So We are changing it from basic attack damage mitigation to
That's big.
just damage mitigation
All damage.
when he's in there. We are reducing
you're gonna
it from 20%
stay in that-
to 15%.
I mean, fair.
Because
a
now
long
you're getting
time.
so many more things mitigated.
You're just gonna
but
use
we
it to
wanted this
post up
feel
and
like
fight
a
people.
More empowered.
Way more than
empowerment
before.
zone.
Like you're just gonna sit in
for
it
Danza
and be
Burrow.
in lane and be like, all right, let's
I'm,
fight.
I'm interested to see what this does for our little Tanuki.
If
Wait,
Danza
jungle.
pops off a little bit. And
I've
Jungle
got a feeling-
Danza.
yeah,
We're back.
That's a great change. Cool. So next up, this is another one that's kind of spicy. We have Fenrir.
Yeah, a little bit.
What
And
the fuck?
One of these involves something that we will show you. So keep your eyes on the screen.
Show
So
you?
let's dive into Fenrir.
Okay, so before we actually get to that one in particular, we got to talk about Unchained.
One more.
This is the leap.
The
for
three?
Fenrir.
Oh, that's
And
the
so
one.
Fenrir had a little bit of his time to shine at the beginning of the year, but he's fallen off quite
Okay.
a lot since the changes in the jungle meta. So essentially, this is again.
This is
another
gonna make him better as a
consistency task. We wanna
support,
give
bro.
him more chances to stun, more chances to be a little bit safer, engage with Unchained or disengage, whichever side it might be, and then brutalize. This is the important one that we're talking about here. So we have a very good video here to show you guys as well. But what's happening to brutalize is that the actual channel time of brutalize is going down, which means you'll be striking a little bit faster every single time. And you can see on the left that is old brutalize from the
Okay.
current patch that is live.
Why do they gotta
right now,
show
and
us
on the
this?
right is the new brutalize that you'll be seeing
Why?
in
It's
10-12.
0.15
So,
seconds. Why are you showing us this?
outrageously so. You can see towards the end there that you're getting those couple of extra strikes back in at the end.
Someone went
But
way
the other thing to
extra.
consider here
for
is you're probably
this.
thinking, oh my god, more damage faster. But you can also Aegis this. And
Yes.
more likely get everything off.
Yes.
With that Aegis. So keep that in mind. It's a give and a take where it's
the same damage over
be able to
0.5 seconds less time.
whatever it might
Great.
be a little bit easier. But also just all those other instances where that's not happening, you're a little bit more consistent, a little bit less time locked out.
Yeah, if Aegis lasts 1.5 seconds. If
I mean,
you
don't get me
Aegis
wrong.
perfectly when he
This is
latched
nice.
on you on the old one, you
But
can
it's
still
nothing
Aegis the
crazy,
entire
not worth
duration.
showing us on our
You
loop.
can Aegis the entire duration here if you do it early. So that counterplay hasn't necessarily changed a whole lot from the Fenrir side. We just felt, this ability is so good early, so impossible to use late. We've given this ability a million different things to make
That's
it be more
actually
passable in
true.
later stages. But at the end of the
Wait,
day,
how
it
long
just
does
took too
Aegis
long.
last?
So we did a little.
It's easier to Aegis the whole
experimentation, went under the hood, and we're able to make it work. We've just shaved off. It's
Yeah,
basically
I was gonna say, you get Aegis the whole thing
0.05
anyway, but
seconds,
now it's just even easier.
for each strike after the first that is faster. So that's why it goes from 1.5
Now,
total
like,
down
Ravana
to
2
1.35.
is better
It may not look super
against
crazy,
Fenrir.
when you're watching it in this GIF form, even though it is quite obvious. When you
And your knock
for me,
immune
it was
shorter.
like the
True.
sound. When I heard how much
So in some
faster
ways,
the
this is a
sound was
nerf.
happening,
Actually,
was
I
like,
think in
yo,
more
I'm
ways this is a nerf than a buff.
Sonic the Hedgehog. Like I'm so fast here. So I'm excited to see how our Fenrir players embrace or have feedback for this brutalized change.
Yeah, cool. So we'll have
They
another
should have
spicy
dropped it
change
down to
back
1
coming in the
second.
pipeline a little
That
later.
would have been
But,
fucking
we're gonna move
crazy.
now to Hu Yi.
Yeah, Ho Yi just needs a little bit of
Ooh.
help as a premier
can't
duelist
clear.
in the duo lane. He is like I
He
want to
can't
solo
clear.
the enemy ADC character.
we just not
but
care about clearing the duo
Ricochet
lane now?
isn't quite dealing enough damage. We don't want it to instantly clear the wave when you max it because if he can clear and duel that well, it's going to become problematic.
And
but
the jungle.
and
And
the
the jungle
jungle.
bounces.
Yes,
There's a lot of
exactly.
things.
Yes, yeah. So that's a good thing to mention
Ooh,
is that
true.
5% scaling on Ricochet.
Jungle Ho
gets
Yi
a lot
back.
of value
Danza
when
and
you're
Ho
hitting
Yi,
it
I'm playing
2 or
them.
3 times on a jungle camp.
Good luck.
That will matter quite a bit. And then his kit is just so focused around access to Mark of the Golden Crow. We don't want to give it to him too often in the late game because he's really, really good at killing tanks that he has marked.
Yeah.
But we want to give it to him a little bit more often in the early stages.
Is
of
it
the game, which
possible
where
with an
it tends
ability
to show.
attack speed build to
All good
get
changes. So
the
Nemesis
cap
is
Silverbranch
next on the
stacks?
list for a little change.
Yeah, so Nemesis is another character that kind of has been here or there
okay.
across the battleground throughout the
That's
years.
shitty 'cause it's the last ability you level up.
She's had her mini metas.
So
and
this
then
is,
quickly
I mean,
gotten
it's
rolled
nice.
out
It's 1
there.
second off of the
So
top
one
end,
thing that
but
we've learned
this is
from
also
all
kind of
this
shitty.
metas is that ultimate is crazy. So you won't see any
really
ultimate
good.
changes
Ultimate's
here.
cracked.
It's mostly going to be around her safety and her ability.
6 second
to
dash is
clear
about to
and
be cracked with the
poke
buff,
lane.
and they buffed
That's one thing
Erendite?
that Nemesis does really well. She can kind of be this like nice middle ground between auto attack assassin or just regular power assassin. She kind of sits somewhere in the middle where she can do a little bit of both.
Yep.
We wanted to kind of acknowledge both of those styles and kind of fit a buff in a place that would
Yeah,
help.
late
both
game,
of
she's
them.
gonna be dashing and
So
dashing and
Swift Vengeance,
dashing
the
and
first
running
one,
and
this is kind
dashing.
of addressing her safety. This is going from 14 seconds at all ranks to 13 down to 11.
You're maxing
And
the one
essentially,
first, no
this is
cap.
to
Yeah, okay,
give her a little
buddy.
bit more of that ability to go in and out if she needs to, because most of the time that you're using this, you know, you're not really going to get it up again by the time that you need it, really.
Right.
So that's kind of the biggest thing, is that this will at least be there for you if you do need it coming up after you try and engage a fight, because once that ultimate wears off, you're kind of a little bit SOL sometimes.
No, you do not want Nemesis 3 to
So
go
this
through
should be there for
CC.
you
Never,
again
never
when
speak
the
again,
time
please.
arises. But the next thing that's a little bit important
Zip
as well
it.
to talk about is Slice and Dice, which is getting a little bit of base damage and a little bit
Finally.
of scaling as well. And so the important thing to acknowledge is this may look like
Finally.
a small change here, but it's also doubled in the center of the cone.
Wait, it's
So
just 10
the
damage.
changes that you're seeing here are effectively 2
And
times
then,
as much
like-
if you're hitting it accurately in the middle.
Yep.
Late game, it's like 40
good
damage.
stuff. Nice.
It's like
So
40
for this
damage
next one,
late
I hope you
game.
brought some sunscreen because my
With
bird
the
will
scaling
rock
and
will,
the
Days
buff.
are getting shorter. He's
Days are
not
getting-
happy with that.
Yeah, we need some help. We all need some more.
That's
rock.
like back to
really
where it
crazy.
was,
Crazy.
right?
Divine
I'm pretty
Light
sure
is
that's
getting
a- like
little
a-
bit of
like a
scaling damage
revert-
buff. This is an
revert.
ability that takes a long time to go off.
Yeah.
Really more utility based.
No
but
fucking
for our
way we're
flashbang
buffing Raw.
players, like myself.
Fuck Raw, that
very
god is
excited to see a
busted.
little bit of extra scaling there, and then Solar Blessing. You know, one of those abilities that received a lot of changes with the healing changes in an earlier season. Pretty close to what we want it to be doing, and we don't want to necessarily give him more healing because that's, you know, always a danger zone. But getting Solar Blessing a little bit more often, reducing that cooldown from 16 to 15 just to make it feel.
No,
a little bit
Nem's definitely
Use it
better.
Offensively, that's all that matters. Just
Yep.
Offensively.
drop
Nem is definitely better. Don't get it
On the way.
twisted. Nem's
So,
clear is
Shipman next up,
faster.
change.
Yes,
You're
so Shipman's
safer.
another very
You
interesting
got item
character
buffs you
because, again,
needed.
He has never really like found himself in the center of a meta. He's been there occasionally. He's a
Fuck
bit of a
this
fringe pick,
god,
but we haven't
dude.
really
I'm
seen
fine with
him
Kukulkan.
kinda show up consistency.
I'll even be okay with
And so
fucking
we wanna
Chalk,
make sure
but
that we're
this
also
is too far.
acknowledging The parts of the player base that do see him.
This
quite a
is-
lot,
they're
that
taking it
tends
too
to- tending
far.
To be true, that he is very strong towards the lower end of things.
Yes.
We were very specifically looking for a buff for the
They've
higher
gone-
distances as
they've gone
well,
too far.
for those high skill players to really be able to min max.
More
Super
mitts,
and so
dude.
Pillar of Dawn is kind of the ability for that,
Smite's
where you
most
can use it as a
overpowered
regular
stat of all
dash,
time.
Or you can kind of
Let's
use
add
this
more
kind
of
of
it.
beacon of strength for your team, where you can sit there and yes, you're standing completely still, but you're also giving out effects or dealing effects out to enemies. So when you're just sitting there hanging out, doing however long you want to do those effects for, you'll be getting extra damage mitigation there. So you're not just dying if you're sitting still. You're going to be, you know, kind of able to tank a little bit more as well.
Yep.
Yeah, nothing like some tactful sitting still.
Mm-hmm.
So Tsukuyomi's next up on the list.
Yeah, so we removed knock-up immunity from one mage assassin in
Yeah.
Maman. We are giving knock-up immunity back to Tsukuyomi on Kusarigama. And before everyone starts panicking, I'm imagining the like SpongeBob scene where like everyone just like runs across town. There's like fire everywhere.
Okay.
Tsukuyomi had one of the strongest releases we've ever seen in Smite. Unbelievably powerful
Unbelievably strong.
on release.
Yes.
This was one of the first nerfs. This was a nerf in one of his first balance passes.
We
actions.
talked about this last
They
night.
removed the knock-up
We
immunity from
literally
Kusarigama.
talked about this
He
fucking
also
last night.
received roughly 100,000 damage nerfs,
Roughly.
give or take.
pretty
You know,
close.
Max would have to
That
give me the
is
margin for
fucking
error for that, but
weird.
103, but
a ton of different damage nerfs over the years. This ability is just not nearly as strong as it was when it was, you know, the players playing at that time, remember maxing Kusarigama, and you would just one-tap someone coming out of the jungle at like level 9.
Yeah.
Schlap.
Yeah, I
It
do
was great on
remember
the Tsukuyomi side. Not so great on the other side. We feel like Tsukuyomi really struggles. He's an assassin with a really unique identity that wants to keep the fight at a range before he picks his moment to go in. He really struggles when the fight is not started on his terms. When someone engages onto him, he has very few tools for survivability. You compare this to someone like Maman, who just lost knock-up immunity. He doesn't have survivability anywhere near as good as Spirit sees. So we feel like we can safely add this back. We didn't want to necessarily give him damage because, again, these damage-oriented characters.
This is
with
going to
low
get him
utility,
played again.
It's just when our damage gets to, okay, I can kill, they
Like in
instantly
the
become
jungle,
very,
not
very
in all the
good.
fucking ADC
So
bullshit
we're
roles and
wary
soloing.
about that, but we feel like he could use this safety again.
I don't know
with
how
Kusarigama.
good he'll be though, because I haven't
It's
played
not
him
ne-
damage-wise.
immediately
His
going
ult's
to
still
be
not that
nearly as
good.
as it was when he last
Oh,
had knock-up
certainly
immunity.
not.
cool. I'll play more carefully now, but I definitely agree. I think it'll be a good addition.
He's definitely getting played more.
So Vulcan, who is
Oh,
like
fuck,
first worlds I
Vulcan?
ever watched, every memory I can think of, is here to rock and roll. So what's happening?
Yeah, so Vulcan, I feel like I need like a little like buzzer that says like data alert, data alert. So this one specifically is a bit of an interesting case because again, we're like, why is Vulcan not performing well? Like, what's going on?
Is there a
here?
turret
Where's this
buffing
problem?
build you can go?
And so again, checking out those slices, finding different places for us to look at and compare. Essentially, the problem with
Shogun
Vulcan
should
his
buff
late game damage is
turret.
falling off a lot. You may think, well, he has 4 damaging abilities. What's really the problem? The problem essentially is that first up, Inferno Cannon just kind of doesn't scale very well. It's a solid ability in the early game, and even in the mid game, it does a lot of really solid work for you. But when it gets to the late game, it kind of just dies in 1 hit. So essentially, you're getting 1 pop from this bad boy if you're lucky, maybe 2. And so we want to just make sure that that's scaling a little bit better for you in case you do want to max it, get this online earlier, and then scale even later with other abilities. Or if you're just going to let it be, just have the turret be at rank 1 for the majority of the game. It's still going to be doing that same base level of damage. It's just the later game that's going a bit more.
Yep.
And the second thing to talk about here is Earthshaker, the ultimate. This ability has a very low cooldown, but the problem is the hit rate on this ability, not very high.
Lower than the cooldown.
It
can be hard to hit.
It can. So essentially, the easiest way to hit this,
Minimum damage.
Worst case scenario, I'm dropping this on my feet. But the thing with Vulcanol is that when you drop it on your feet, it does less damage.
Yep.
So we want to kind of bump that up a little bit so you're not as punished for going for the
I'm not gonna lie, they should remove that whole concept of travel for damage.
When you go all the way out.
It should just be full damage all the time.
Fire Giant, Gold Fury, under a Tower of Phoenix, whatever that might be. But in those situations where you're kind of just like stuck, you're getting
that way you don't feel forced to be max range to use it.
Yeah, to just drop it.
Just drop it at your feet.
Rock and roll. Hey, that was a fun achievement. That was a hard achievement to get the max range ult.
Yeah,
that was a lot of grinding, but it felt good. You hit it at the distance, you see it pop, and you're like, yes.
Yep.
I'm so happy I fed the last 4 games for this. Sorry, whoever was in arena that week. So one last change on the gods list here, and we have Ymir. And this one also has a fun little video we'll get to share with y'all.
Holy
so
fuck!
One,
they're
really
changing everything I've said,
which is that he's a big boy who stands still for a lot of his kit. He stands still when he casts his 2, stands still when he casts his 3, stands still when he casts his 4.
They gotta hit his all, right?
Very strong CCs.
This is everything I've said, bro.
To kind of compensate for that, but the 2 is really just a clear ability, or you've stunned them and now you can actually hit it.
Yeah.
What we've done is we've reduced the pre-fire time from 0.45 seconds to 0.35 seconds. So now this ability, the shards still, or the carpet still goes out.
Yeah.
Yes.
But the shards exploding.
They have to change the ult though, or he's still trash. Like if that ult isn't buffed in some way to make him live or be more useful with it, he's still trash.
But will absolutely make this a more consistent ability.
It's gonna make it easier to land, but it's not gonna make the ability better.
Already stunned, who is moving around, has beats.
Because the 3 is still a struggle bus ability. The ult is still trash.
Can be more than just guaranteed follow-up off of your own stun or wave clear, and can be an actual.
Bro, I don't know what's up with these being on loop. Like there's fucking crazy changes.
The other important thing to talk about here is that like Ymir, when he's using this ability, is obviously rooted, right? But that pre-fire going down means you're rooted for just a little bit less.
Yep.
And even that just a little bit feels so nice. It makes him feel way smoother. And you're thinking, Lermy, 0.1 second, is that really that much? I'm telling you, he feels like a new dude. He feels like a new character.
If you look closer, you can see 0.1 second of change.
Super cool, yeah. And I mean, like you said, it's all these small numbers in a MOBA, right? It's 1%, it's 0.1 second, it's all this crazy stuff. But when you get your hands on it, right? Mathematically, it sounds, you're like, okay, that doesn't sound like a lot. But you get your hands on it, it's crazy.
It feels a lot different.
So, but obviously, we'll leave that up to y'all. Y'all be getting in and figuring it out with PTS and with the update next week. So that does it.
I'm sure that change is actually solid, but it's not only enough to make him playable.
Missed any of it or feel like you need to go back?
Like he's not meta now. You're not gonna run around and be better because of that.
Spicy stuff. But we have one more thing to talk about before we call this show to an end, and that is a new battle pass coming with the Season of Worlds. And like most
this
things,
patch is not a bad patch, but it's missing the hype.
Battle Pass World Champions. So the World Champions Battle Pass is an all-new battle pass. And it's huge. It has a lot of skins. It has 10 skins in total. 2 brand new ones, or like more like 6 brand new ones actually, and some that you know and love. But we want to give you.
That's about our hype. I mean, I'm gonna play them, but are they really hype?
The way it works is you're going to be able to get a skin for every single team. So all of your favorite SPL teams are getting their skins. You're ready to throw them on the battleground, rep them, get excited. And the way that this battle pass works is as you
these
work
skins
through
are just going to be the recolor type skins, aren't
all
they?
All of these skins are in the, I'm going to make sure I say the chest
brand new Monster Cat music pack.
So
Holy
there are no- the chests,
shit!
just the world
Let's
chests with the
fucking
esports
go.
chests. And you will be earning rolls
Tracks from
as you
Caster,
progress through the battle
Skylar,
pass to
Going
pick out of
Quantum,
this chest
and
which
Have.
skin
I
you
don't
want.
know who the fuck
chest, it's
any
not
of those
like
people
rolling a
are.
random chest. You get to pick. So if you only get 4 of the rolls through the battle pass because you have a busy, you're busy, that's fine. You pick your 4 favorite skins.
They put
now this will
no
include 4 new skins and 4
effort into these
existing
fucking
esports
types of
skins,
skins,
the ones
dude.
that were already
These
around for
esports skins
people
are the
last
most
year. If you
lazy
happen to
fucking
already
skins
have
ever.
those skins, you obtained them prior. Don't worry about it. If you get all of the chest rolls, there's other opportunities for you to earn things, and you can also earn gems out of the chest as well. So if you weren't, you're like, I already have the 4 existing esports skins, then you'll get compensated for it. You're not going to get nothing. We guarantee it. Another cool thing about this battle pass is on the free track, we have a brand new Monster Cat music pack, which is pretty cool. So just out here repping more awesome Monster Cat music. So this one will feature tracks from Caster, Skylar, and Going Quantum and Have. So make sure you check that out as well. Again, on the free track. If you're not getting the battle pass, you're missing out on some cool esports skins, but you'll still get this really cool Monster Cat music pack along with some other things. So now it's time, I guess, to dive in. So I just wanted to give you a quick, you've seen this a little bit, but we wanted to give you a showcase real quick of just what all of the SPL skins look like. You've seen them throughout the video that we showed earlier. So they were the ones featured in here. So there's going to be 8 skins in total, 1 for each of the teams. And it'll just be a great opportunity for you to rep all these skins, which is really exciting. I mean, because
They're all recolors of the original
The esports
fucking
skins,
style
I mean,
skins they did for
there's something
esports.
good about just locking into God in a jersey.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
it's so
Sunglasses, the
Yep.
headsets.
It's
There's
got- it's
no
got
world
a
you
nice
use
little
those
charm
skins
to it.
over
It's a
any
little
skin in the
cheesy, but
game.
It's also very fun.
No fucking
yeah,
way.
it's cheesy, but you're like, you know what?
In a good way.
Poseidon just got a T-shirt on. Like, that's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
There's
you know?
no
Like,
world where you're like, yeah,
wearing
these
that
skins are
Sabre
definitely better
jersey.
than what
Yep.
I have.
Super cool, but that's obviously not all of the skins. Those are 8 of them, 8 of the 10, which is a ton of skins for a battle pass. That is a lot. So you can rep your favorite teams, or you can get one of these other ones, starting with Rainbow Warrior E-Shell.
Yeah, I've been excited about this one.
This one is really cool. So,
yeah, really, really sick for Rainbow Warrior.
Yeah.
Okay,
there it
look at
is.
Yeah.
Look at this skin.
It's all this card art originally.
I'm
and I
for,
was
they
like,
said
that is
each other. I'm done for
E-Shell.
each other to have a skin.
Yeah.
See if it's good in
You should
game.
see it in game.
Yeah,
That's
the
crazy
effects
in
are
game.
the effects are nuts. It's I mean, a little biased here personally.
Really? No.
but,
What blows
I
my
think it's
fucking
really
mind
sick.
is
No,
how
I
good
super agree
Smite
with you.
skins
It's a
are,
really great
but how
skin, and,
shit their
we're not taking
esports
the
skins
in-game
are.
for this one. This
And
one
then
we
you go to
usually
other
watch
games,
yourself,
their
so we like
skins
to
are
save
shit,
yourself.
but their esports skins
Oh,
are
I also
usually
wanted to
really
say, I
dope.
was in a real mood when I wrote this voice pack.
Really?
Take that as you will. Yeah.
Okay.
There are some weird jokes. Like
It blows my fucking mind, bro.
Like
You've
one of the playtesters was like, "Who wrote this voice pack?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that was
Like
me.
in
I did that,
Apex,
like,
they didn't drop them, but
that's
they
all good.
released what they were gonna look like.
Yeah, no,
Their
it turned
esports
out
skins
well.
look dope compared
but
to their
it's-
regular skins.
It's, you know, if you know my humor,
I mean, it's
you'll-
like here's a
you'll
jersey you
catch
can
on.
barely see.
See, that's why you got to watch this show, because otherwise you'd have no idea.
true.
You'd be like, what were they thinking? When they wrote-"
It
So
doesn't make
it's
sense to me
just
too, because
aggro doing
they
aggro
definitely
stuff.
would make their money
So,
back if they
the
made
last
dope
skin
skins.
in
Like
this is
everyone
one
would
that
want to buy
I
it just
think
because
is
it's a
really
cool
hype
skin,
you'll
regardless
all
of the
enjoy.
esport.
And it's Camelot's King Maui.
This skin is just sick. I mean,
is.
It's so good.
It's such a cool throwback to the performance too.
Too bad
I
this
mean,
is the lowest win rate god in the game right now,
Bro, what
with
was
no
that?
buffs coming
What
in.
was that, guys? I'm kidding, of course. But this Maui, of course, is voiced by the same voice actor as Maui. Brett Mukai did an amazing job
Yeah.
revisiting the role as well. But he's got a lot of fun references,
up,
a
Ben?
little bit of a esports bro vibe. He's saying, "Get in here, boys, we're going." He has some fun voice lines like "untouched, unscathed,
Iconic.
champions of the world."
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
a lot of those fun esporty lines. He even says like, "You're doing big man things." Like there's some fun references like that in there. As
They're
well.
gonna show it.
There's a sick voice pack.
Yeah, and I mean, again, such a sick callback to such an amazing event. I remember standing there stage side as it all came to an end, like the cheering and the confetti, and it's just, man, I talking about this, it almost makes me sad because I'm like, man, Worlds could not come any faster.
You think
I
they
know,
use
I know.
AI to make the
It's
skins?
a
No.
lot. It's
They have
almost
so
here,
many
and, like,
employees in their
it's a
art
ton of
department. It's
work,
crazy.
But it's
they don't go anywhere near AI.
It's
Yeah.
man, I
Is
am.
that it?
That is it.
Yeah, this
Oh,
this
boy.
skin is a love letter to esports, though. Even
Yep.
even beyond the voice lines, like a lot of the effects that you're seeing as well
We should see
are
'em
really
in
fun.
game.
Oh, we should.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll keep talking, but let's see him in game while you're talking. You know.
There he is, right next to a statue too, over in the soul lane.
True. He's got his own statue. Look at that.
So it's so cool.
Having
I mean,
the logo in game like that is just, oh my gosh.
Look, I wasn't exactly upset that my first god, you know, who had just come out was
What's
performing
super
well
awkward
at
is
the World
like, what are the
Championship. Maybe a
odds the
little
same
too
players
well at
are
times.
even? Wait,
But,
what's his name's not even on the Kings, which this skin is based off of, right?
But I mean,
And, like,
that's-
what are the
it was
odds the same
the
players
talk
are
of
on the
the
Kings
event
next year?
was Genetics.
What are the odds the Kings
Maui
even
and how
exist
well he was
next year?
playing it, and afterwards, everyone was saying like, "Oh,
I feel like if you were actually spending money on this skin, you're kind of trolling your bank account.
And so I've been looking forward to this one for a really long time.
Yeah, there's some fun jokes in there. We got a chest joke. We got a jeans joke as well. Like it's in my jeans. I'm so good into my jeans. 5-man alt joke in there as well. Lots of fun references to the actual performance as well.
Yeah, so just like you said, a love letter to an amazing event, to an amazing performance, and to the world champions.
Man, they didn't drop a
an
game.
absolutely
You'd think they would
awesome
add some
skin. And I
crazy
think a
fucking
really
shit to
cool-
this
a
skin,
really
but
cool
no.
point to end this show on. So that will be the last skin of the battle pass, and check it out. Throwing the shot.
That's a snoozer battle pass, dude. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so
That is a
does
snoozer
bring
battle
us into
pass.
The show, though, you know, just a world's themed season.
Holy
we're all so
shit,
hyped
there's
for it here,
nobody
and I don't
watching
think
this.
A day goes by that we aren't talking about worlds this or worlds that or what can we do. Like, it's going to be such an incredible
It is that
event,
time of year,
and
but
we
god
are-
damn.
Wait.
Yeah, we are all
So close.
like literally we were sitting here before the camera started rolling talking about worlds.
Yep.
It's literally every spare thought feels like it's going towards it because last year was so fun for
I
everybody.
think everyone reads the
that
notes is
it's
cringe.
only
This
gonna
is
be better
usually
this
like
year.
5 to
And I'll
7K.
wait to see y'all there.
So you're just speaking to speak at this
Some more
point.
magic, I think. So.
Yep.
It's been that way
Well, cool.
forever.
So again, we made it to the end of the show. That was a lot of stuff. If
It's
you
time of
follow
year.
the
It's just
update
a snooze
notes, then
patch.
you
There's nothing hype, no
absorb
new
a lot of
god.
it because
They didn't really hype up leading into it. It was just
if not,
esports.
you can check them out. But
All right. Patch notes done. Mages slaughtered. Warriors are coming back. SILVERBRANCH is broken. I probably will not touch the PTS. I mean, there's no reason to touch the PTS at all. I don't think. Patch notes that esports viewership is getting fucked by 24/7 stream. Wait. I thought they stopped the 24/7 stream. I mean, it's the time of year. This time of year viewership always drops. This is where I hit like 800 viewers as my Smite average. It's not an exciting time of the year. There's no major changes. What the fuck? How did the wheel spin? I thought I had it turned off. Wait, how did the wheel spin? Oh, you donated 667. That's how it spun. I didn't turn that off. What do you think that the Merc build is now after this patch? You're gonna build SILVERBRANCH. You're just gonna have to throw in SILVERBRANCH, and you'll probably go. I don't know if you'll go Erendite. I don't know if you'll be able to squeeze Erendite in. I'll have to fuck with builds. It's a Smite game staying up 24/7. I think is what. Yeah, but wait, I thought they stopped doing that. I thought like I called them out, everyone got mad at me, and then they realized they were fucking up and they changed it. Oh, you guys are thinking that they rerun at night. They said they weren't going to do that. Bro, what? Oh, what? Dude, how you going to say you're not going to do it and then do it anyway? They must be so down on money, dude. They've got to be fucking having huge money troubles to say they're not going to do that shit and then keep doing it anyway. It's the only reason you do that is for money. There's no one's benefiting but Hyra is making money. I mean, the channel sucks. I mean, I'm not trying to be mean to the streamers, but when you pull in random people that nobody, like you have no following, you're not like a big community member or some shit, the stream is pointless. It's worthless. So having it at the top, which is what I've said forever, with those people is worthless. But if they're down so bad that they have to run reruns for money, they definitely can't pay any valuable fucking people to stream on there. That's crazy. They said they weren't gonna do reruns anymore, and like the channel wasn't gonna run as much. That's wild. Yeah, I called them out. It was a whole thing because the way ads work on Twitch, the amount of money you make is fucking crazy. Like I stream for 4 or 5 hours a night, right? And like 6 days a week. So my stream is up, we'll say 30 hours. It's more than that, but we'll say 30 hours a week, right? Am I doing my math right? And with those rough hours, ads are half of my revenue. So if you know how to do math and, you know, figure this out, ads are half my revenue. So if the Smite game stream is up 20 fucking hours, their revenue should be 3 times more, 4 times more than mine, which is a fuck ton of money. It's a lot of money. I don't care if it's a fucking big company. They're not paying their streamers that amount of money. You're talking like 50 grand a month in ads, at least. Which is what I pointed out. And I'm like, yo, streamers, you getting paid $15 an hour and they're making this much a month. That's crazy. Nah, because we were saying originally that the Smite Game channel should be like announcement stuff, dev stuff, like where they're doing their talks, and then esports. It shouldn't be like random people streaming on it. And then the argument is always, well, it helps them grow. What about everyone that isn't on there? That you're subjecting anyone who hits the Smite Game channel, their first stream they see is that one. They click on it and that's what they see. Yeah, they could have a community channel. Exactly. That would get fucking, 15 viewers and wouldn't be at the top and wouldn't ruin every first person that comes in. I'm guessing. I'm gonna throw this out there. I'm thinking there's no way next year they're still doing this. There's no way next year they're still doing this. No fucking way. Still running a 20-hour stream with people that are kind of fucking up the experience of first-time viewers on Smite. Dude, if I click on a category, right? Like I go to Smite and I'm like, "Oh man, this game, maybe it's cool. Let me check it out." And I open it and someone's playing arena not talking and they're getting shit on. I'm like, "Oh, man, this isn't that cool. This game looks like shit." If I don't know anything about it, I'm like, "This looks like shit." Where if I go into an El Leon stream and he's playing Conquest and he hits a fucking triple Jan assault and kills somebody, it looks a whole lot different. But I'm more talking about like right now the viewership is bad in general because of the time of year. Like just streams in general are down bad. Apex is down bad. A lot of games are down bad. But Smite had nothing hype happening today, so that's why that patch notes video or stream only had like 2K views from them. Usually has like 5K. No, it's definitely everything. Viewership is down bad, just like for games. Right, dude. If you look too, while viewership for games are down bad, pretty much every game. I mean, I look around. IRL type shit and just chatting is up big. We're going back into a reality TV entertainment fucking period of time. COD gonna scoop up all the viewers tomorrow. Yeah, I'm probably gonna play it. I'm gonna be honest. I'll probably end up playing it. You think about Mom and not having knock-up immunity? It's gonna hurt her. I use that knock-up immunity a lot, but you're just gonna have to learn to use the ult for knock-up immunity. You're just gonna have to shift your playstyle. That god still 100 to 0 is everybody. But if your one gets interrupted, you have to learn to react and use your dash to not take any damage. Or you just go Magi's Blessing. That might become a meta build. So your one can't be. Did I record patch notes? I did. I did.